Here's Rob's 24-hour forecast.
And we'll get to the tropics in just a bit, but today, how about this? What a difference a day makes. 90 degrees the high this afternoon, 20 degrees cooler than yesterday thanks to the clouds and some showers that have been in the area. Still a heat index right around 100 or 101, but better than 120. That's what we saw yesterday afternoon on the heat index, and some shower activity across the area, eastern Louisiana, southwest Louisiana as well. And we do have a cell that's just to the west of Carencro moving southward, so a few showers out there. But the big story of the tropics, you have Hurricane Franklin out here, Cat 4, 145 mile per hour winds, could go Cat 5. This is a big bad storm. You can see how good it looks on satellite imagery, or bad. And then we have our tropical storm that will likely become a hurricane later on this evening, and it's heading for the Gulf of Mexico. It's at least going to be a Category 3, a major hurricane, potentially a Category 4 at landfall. We'll talk more about that in the main weathercast. Locally, though, much better. Tonight, temperatures down into the mid-70s. Few showers in the mix, and a few showers and a few thunderstorms possible tomorrow. Not all of us see any rain. 40% on your rain chances. Temperatures lower 90s. The sun comes back out. It gets drier, and it also gets hotter later this week. We'll talk more above normal temperatures and have the complete True View forecast and a full look at the tropics coming up in just a little bit.
The water is off in St. Martinville as crews are working to make necessary repairs. Because of the extreme heat and dry conditions, the cement in some spots is buckling, causing water lines to break. Residents are being asked to conserve water at this time. The repairs will continue until about 7 o'clock tonight, and then a boil water advisory will then be in effect until further notice.
Well, with potential gusty winds and thunderstorms, fire officials in Beauregard Parish are worried weather conditions could reignite the Tigerland fire in some areas. Here you see where some of the fire is already out. Additional assistance arrived last night as crews shift their focus to the fire's edge and work on identifying and protecting structures. So far, the fire has spread over 33,000 acres and is only 50% contained. Emergency responders from Louisiana and out of state, along with National Guard, Black Hawk helicopters, and 16 bulldozers and large tankers have worked on the Tigerland fire.
An increase in fires in Louisiana are being caused by high temperatures and drought. Having awareness and being prepared in case of a fire emergency can be life-saving. Firefighters continue to stress, ready, set, go. A plan of action to be ready at a moment's notice and knowing when to evacuate and what to bring. I spoke with one resident who lives right down the road from where a grass fire occurred. He says his family has learned from this experience.
We were not really prepared. We had to go as fast as we could. We had to get what we can and get out of that house because we don't know how far this wildfire would have spread. So yeah, we got out of there. We'll most definitely make sure next time that we have things on standby like water, food, bags, a ride, a way out of here fast. Yes, ma'am.
Staying aware and being prepared. In Maurice, Christina Mondragon, KETC TV3.
The Louisiana Department of Health is urging those in areas where wildfires are burning to be aware of the impact of poor air quality. Pay attention to local air quality reports and health warnings. If there is an air quality advisory, stay indoors and keep the windows and doors closed. Do not go outside if there's a large amount of smoke outdoors. And if possible, keep an air conditioner's fresh air intake closed and ensure the filter is clean.
Good evening, I'm Taylor Toole, and the truth is nobody wants or expects to deal with a natural disaster. And with these dry conditions and that statewide burn ban, even with this overcast weather, the truth is that fires are still a major cause for concern, and the likelihood of fires starting if you're burning is no less than before. Take Scott Fire Department, for example. Over the course of the last month, Chief Chad Saunier tells me they've been fighting 2 to 3 grass fires a day, something that takes a toll on the whole team.
It's uncommon because we have a hurricane, and for the first 3 or 4 days after the hurricane, we're real busy, but then things slow down, kind of get back to some type of normalcy. But with this situation, it's been going on for over a month in different parishes. So as soon as the guys get back and start getting back into some type of normalcy, they off to another parish to do it. So getting difficult.
Now, Scott Fire, as well as other local and state agencies, want to remind you that there is to be no burning whatsoever, even if you're a farmer, even if you have a permit, for the duration of this statewide burn ban. In Scott, Taylor Toole, KATC TV3.
In St. Landry Parish, the sheriff's office is investigating the cause of a wildfire that burned about 20 acres on Chance Road. That fire started yesterday. No injuries were reported, but citations will be issued as the investigation continues. Parish President Jesse Bellard is urging everyone to follow the statewide burn ban. A Lafayette Parish man is facing arson charges over a fire Sunday that spread from his mobile home to the grass. Jared DeQueer was booked into the parish jail for a simple arson charge. 7 fire departments from 2 parishes worked to put out that fire on what was the hottest day on record. One firefighter was treated at the scene for heat exhaustion. No other injuries were reported.
A St. Martin Parish deputy now under arrest on charges of second-degree battery. Deputies say they were called to a business near Catahoula Highway Thursday in reference to a fight. They say correctional deputy 30-year-old Myra Horton was off duty as she engaged in the fight. Horton turned herself in and was booked into the parish jail last night. She was also terminated from the sheriff's office. Well, in state news now, the fire at the Marathon Petroleum Refinery in Garyville is out after 3 days of flames. According to the parish, they were responding to the release of a liquid hydrocarbon mixture and the fire at one of the refinery storage facilities. The solvent is used in laundry soaps and cleaning liquids. Well, FEMA money is heading to Louisiana to help build resiliency against extreme weather. Nearly $3 billion is headed to bill against climate change fueled extreme weather in Baton Rouge. The money will be used to elevate some homes, acquire and demolish others that have flooded repeatedly. The money will also be used to help communities upgrade their energy grid, install new sewer mains, and elevate homes in flood-prone neighborhoods. This money is coming from the infrastructure law Congress passed last year, not from the same source as FEMA's disaster relief fund.
And a few showers and storms on the radar this afternoon, a few more tomorrow, and what a difference a day makes. Much better temperatures, at least over the next 48 hours. But the heat returns later this week. More on that and the happenings in the tropics coming up right after the break.
From the KATC Weather Lab, here's Rob's forecast.
Welcome back. Well, what a difference a day makes. Yesterday, 110, the all-time record high, the last of all the heat records. We broke them all this summer. Now we got some 90-degree weather with some cloud cover out there. And I can almost liken it to being out in El Paso or Phoenix, where I spend time with family. And you're kind of happy when you don't see the sun and see a cloudy day. And today was one of those. And some showers out there as well. Now, let's just finish off this big record here. We'll get over to the Key Wall and look at this year. Up until this year, the longest stretch of 100-degree days was 7 days back in 2000. Then you had some hot years in the 20s, especially 21, 24, 1962. But then this year, earlier this year, we had a 17-day consecutive stretch of 100 degrees. Then an 11-day stretch of 100 degrees. So that's 28 of back-to-back stretches and a total of 30 days over 100 this summer. And you look back at the records from 1982 to 2022, 40 years. In 40 years, there were only 32 100-degree days. So almost more 100-degree days this year than the last 40 years put together. So I'll give you an idea how far off the charts this summer has been. But we had a bit of a break thanks to this upper level trough that has brought a little bit of a frontal boundary through the area. And great timing on this trough because this is keeping this tropical storm away from us and is going to actually force it to head toward Florida. So we'll get to that in just a bit. But with that upper trough, we do have some showers in the area. And again, you can see Adelia down here by the western tip of Cuba. Don't know if we were thinking it was going to go over western tip of Cuba, but that you could have some land interactions here, and we might see a different track developing in the next couple of runs. So Florida on guard for sure. For us, at least a few showers across the area. Some nice showers over towards southwest Louisiana. Calcasieu Parish getting some nice rain. Not enough near where the fires are, and also additional thunderstorm activity activity has been firing up nicely by Baton Rouge. It looks like Baton Rouge is going to get some of this rain. Maybe some of this spreads west-southwestward as we head through the evening hours. We'll keep our fingers crossed. But you can see the activity across southwest Louisiana. We have a nice little cell showing up just to the west of I-49 from, we'll say, from Karen Crow and right around Pointe de Mouton Road on southward. You can see this is heading towards Scott. You should get some rain. Western Lafayette Parish may get a little rain too, but just enough to settle the dust. This is not enough to feed any of our lawns and gardens. It's going to take a couple of weeks worth of rain to do that. Now in the tropics, we have two systems of interest in the western Atlantic. We have Franklin, a Category 4, and Acadiana that's bucking to become a hurricane shortly. But look how intense this hurricane looks. Look how circular the eye is. Up to 145-mile-per-hour winds, maybe getting even stronger. Could be a Cat 5 as it goes west of Bermuda or very close to that. Tropical storm conditions in Bermuda, but the worst of it should stay offshore there and curve out to sea. And then Acadiana, as we look down in the northwest Caribbean, the southeastern Gulf of Mexico has been bursting out near the center. It's getting better and better organized, so we'll see how it goes. 70-mile-per-hour winds. Pressure still not too low at 987 millibars, but it's very close to becoming a hurricane. Now moving to the north, and as it gets away from Cuba later on tonight, it will intensify, and there may be a rapid intensification cycle in this storm, so it's going to go to at least a Category 3. That's the official forecast for now. 120-mile-an-hour winds at landfall, but look where it's Cat 3. There's still more real estate for this to develop, and I think it's probably going to be closer to a Category 4, maybe a mid-range Category 4 at landfall. That is not good news across the Big Bend of Florida and much of the west coast of Florida, where hurricane warnings are posted from just about the Fort Myers area on northward. Tropical storm warnings elsewhere, and then it's going to be storm surge warnings as well. Storm surge watch for Fort Myers on southward, but you get into the Tampa area, much higher surge, and then across the Big Bend of Florida, that's where we're going to have the water better than 9 feet. 4 to 7 feet forecast for Tampa Bay area, St. Pete, and then you go farther to the north, 8 to 12 feet based on the current forecast, but these numbers could go up as well, so something that we'll watch closely. Now here's the graph model. We love the graph model for the tropics. It does a great job, and look at the way it bombs out this storm, and notice the forecast track a little bit east of where the Hurricane Center is putting this storm in, so we'll watch the trends. The graph model has been an excellent model on intensity and track forecast, but bottom line, you can see this is heading toward the Big Bend of Florida, and then it rakes portions of Georgia, South Carolina, and then maybe even North Carolina before definitively moving away for Thursday. Landfall is going to be late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning, right around daybreak on Wednesday, the way it's looking. Here's the graph model wind forecast data, and notice you can see the big winds over by the Cedar Key area. I saw 120 just before we stopped it right here. This is early Wednesday morning, and then hurricane force winds perhaps all the way over through Jacksonville before the storm begins to weaken. For us, the model says maybe a few more showers early this evening. We'll keep our fingers crossed. Mid-70s by tomorrow morning, then tomorrow pushing the lower 90s with some scattered showers and thunder showers tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. After that drier air pouring in the wake of that hurricane that'll be east of us, so then we dry out and temperatures go back up. Mid-70s overnight tonight, but maybe a few showers during the evening hours. We'll go with rain chance at about 40%. That's where we keep it for tomorrow as well, at the 40% range, 92 the high. A more typical summer day. We haven't had any of those since May, and it wasn't summer in May, but that's the way it's gone this summer for sure. So enjoy the lower temperatures, because Wednesday will be back up to 97 in full sun. Thursday, much the same, upper 90s into the weekend, but some rain chances developing late in the weekend, early next week. But notice those temperatures still 5 to 10 degrees above normal. That's it for weather for now. We're going to have more coming up right after the break.